do a little, if the playoffs started today, let's go through the first round matchups and pick the winners. Does that sound cool?
I'm with it.
All right, bet. So the 1-8 would be Miami Heat, who have been playing really good basketball, and the Brooklyn Nets. Who would y'all take in that series?
That's tough. A 1-8 should not be this tough, but it is.
Honestly, I guess I'll go first since I proposed the question. I think I would take the Heat in 6. I really do think I'll take Miami in 6, man. I think they're built to beat a team like Brooklyn, no matter who's on the court. I think they're built to beat those guys. Give me Miami in 6, man. That's my hot take, I guess. Even though they're the ones.
I was gonna say Miami in 7.
Yeah, that's probably what I.
But realistically, I think my actual first round matchup would be Heat versus Nets if we predicted the play-in. I mean, Heat versus Raptors. In that case, I'd probably say Heat in 5.
Yeah, probably.
Well, if it was today, it would be Nets.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not a fair first round matchup, man. The 2-7 though would be the Milwaukee Bucks defending champs against y'all's Toronto Raptors. Take how many games?
Bucks in 5.
I agree.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'll give the Raptors a game because they're such a scrappy team and they're talented. I think they could take maybe like a game 3 at home, but the Bucks, I think they just have too much.
Yeah, I agree. No Kawhi, no Ibaka, no Gasol. The wall is gone. It ain't there.
This could be an interesting matchup, honestly. 3-6, the 76ers against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's a very interesting one.
I'd like to give the Cavs some credit, but I still think the 76ers win that relatively comfortable. I'd probably have them in 6.
In 6?
I'd say 76ers in 5 or 6. I think Cleveland can do some nice things, but given Jared Allen might be like freshly back into the lineup, and then I'm still going to give James Harden the benefit of the doubt over Darius Garland head-to-head. Even though Garland's been great, James Harden is James Harden. So, yeah, give me the Sixers.
I would take Philly in 6 also. Cavs are just so young, and if Allen's not back, Mobley's very good, but Embiid will have his way. I watched Bam last night. Really, he was torturing Evan Mobley, bro.
Yeah, he was.
He's not to the level where he can really contend with those elite bigs right now. He's going to get there, but not right now. And then the 4-5, this is probably the Bulls at the 4 seed and the Celtics at the 5 seed. That's a tough. I'm gonna take the season 7 just based off of what I've seen like over the last month of basketball, but it could still go either way given both teams being healthy.
Season 5.
In 5?
In 5. Do the Bulls even have 2 wins against teams with winning records all season?
I think they have exactly.
They might.
2. I think
they might have 2 wins against maybe not teams with winning records, but against like
I think above 600 teams. I think is what it is.
Yeah. Teams that are this good, as good as the Celtics. The Bulls have like 2 wins all season, so I don't think they're gonna get more than 2 wins. Your prediction is having them get more wins than they've had against these types of teams all season in a 7-game span, and so I'm saying they might get 1.
That's a hot one.
Yeah, I'd probably go 6 to Boston. Even assuming Boston jump into the 4 seed and have home court advantage, I still believe enough in Chicago, especially once Caruso and Lonzo are back, that they can get a couple, but I'm not overly confident by any stretch. And as much as DeRozan has been better this year, he still hasn't exactly ever been great in the playoffs, which I hate to say, but it's the reality of DeRozan's playoff performances so far.
So for the West, can we also predict the play-in? Because I feel like I don't know if the 7 and 8 are really going to be the teams that are there.
I think they are.
I feel like you think so. You think it'll be? You think the Timberwolves and Clippers?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. Lakers have to win 2 straight games. I don't even know if they'll beat the Pelicans. Honestly,
I don't know if they would either. And I would personally have the Timberwolves beating the Clippers, and the Lakers don't beat the Clippers. So,
yeah, the same.
But say we see Zion's been with the team, right?
I don't think
If
Zion's
Zion
playing
comes
this
back,
season. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he
nah.
plays
But
this season.
if he did, do you think they could take back-to-back games against the Lakers and the Clippers?
I don't
Nah.
think so. I don't think so.
No.
I think I trust Ty Lue in a one-game situation to put together an immaculate game plan
I
and
agree.
make the playoffs.
I agree. I also don't think
Okay.
Zion coming back this late in the season will help as much as some people might think it does, because now you have BI to get touches to, Zion to get touches to, CJ to get touches to, Devontae Graham's still going to want his touches. Not to say they'll be worse, but there is going to be some things they're going to have to figure out on offense.
And they'll probably be on a minutes restriction.
That's also true. Also
Yeah.
true.
That is fair. Hey, with all that said, though, whoever gets that 8 seed, Suns in 4.
Well, right now it would be the Clippers. I would probably go Suns in 5. I'll give the Clippers one game. Assuming
Yeah,
Paul
man.
George
We
is
are
not,
predicting.
assuming Paul George is not back, I'll give the Clippers one game.
You guys have not predicted one sweep yet. I think
Nah.
this is there's always a sweep or two every year, and I think this is going to be it.
There is, but I feel like this is probably as closely contested the NBA has been in such a long time. Like when you look at the 2-7, Memphis and Minnesota, I don't think those teams are like that far apart in my eyes, like talent-wise. I could see like the Timberwolves winning a couple games in that series.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
how I feel right now.
I agree.
But if there was a team to get a sweep, it would probably be the Suns. I could see them sweeping the Clippers, but I'll give the Clippers a game.
Yeah, I'm giving the Clippers a game too. They're too scrappy. They fight hard. I don't think they're going down without one.
Predicting a sweep is so disrespectful. Like,
Yeah, it's like I don't feel that bad about a team in the playoffs this year. Like, there's been some years in the East where you have like Detroit as the 8 seed or Orlando as the 8 seed, where it's like they're a step below everyone else, but I don't feel that way about anyone in the playoffs this year.
very true, man. So we can move on to the 2-7, which would be the 2-seeded Memphis Grizzlies, who are a half game ahead of the Warriors, and they would be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are about a couple and a half games back at the 6th seed. So they might be stuck here in the play-in. Who would y'all take in this series? How many games?
I'd have Memphis for sure. I'd probably say Memphis in 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6, but I'd probably say Memphis in 5. This Timberwolves team is still really low on playoff experience. Best is ahead of them, but I think the Grizzlies are significantly better enough that they probably take work of things. I think they're built for the playoffs as well as far as a young team goes. Obviously, they aren't great in experience, but they are scrappy. They work hard. They're good defensively, and they do have good leadership from guys like Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, John Morant himself. So I think they probably take this in 5.
I want to pick the Timberwolves so bad, but the fact that I've seen 5 games of playoff Cat, and it was 1 like 5 years ago, and 2 not very good. I can't put enough stock in the Timberwolves' playoff ability to pick them, but I'll give them 2 games. I'll say Grizzlies in 6.
When I look at these teams, they're basically even on playoff experience. They both, like, their top players have played 5-game series. They got some vets that have played some playoff basketball. Pat Bev has. Steven Adams has. And these teams, when they play each other very well. I think they might have actually split the season series 2-2. That being said, I'm going to say Grizzlies in 7. I'm going to say this goes 7 games. I think this is going to be a very closely contested series, but they'll pull away in that game 7, man. I'll take Memphis in 7.
I think Grizzlies just they put together a little bit more consistency. I feel like especially from I feel like some nights Anthony Edwards can explode for like 34th, and other nights he can literally have like 13. So I think you'll get a couple explosive Anthony Edwards games, but then the other games I think the Grizzlies will just be too much. I think Cat's going to bring the same level of production every night. I think he's going to do his thing.
I don't know. I think that's going to be an interesting series. I do hope we get that as a first-round matchup. I think that has the potential to be one of the most fun first-round series that we see this year.
Yeah,
That's why I said I really want to pick the Timberwolves. I think they could really. I need to see some playoff Jay Vando.
I feel that. I'd love to see them win, but I don't know. The best is ahead of them though. They're still super young. They got a lot moving forward.
Well, I think this 3-6 could potentially be like a dogfight, man. The Golden State Warriors and y'all's favorite team, the Denver Nuggets. Who would y'all take in this series? How many games?
Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6, he says. I like the
Nuggets. Let me get a hot take. Let me get a hot take out in here. Warriors ain't been the same team since Clay came back. We'll start it right there. Draymond has been out forever. Are they going to have time to really get everything situated? Because they still have not had their full team play at the same time, really.
Not to mention Wiseman has to come back still as well, and they have to get him into the lineup.
Wiseman's not back. Now, their 2 rookies they have this year, they're like pretty significant pieces. Do they have that playoff experience? No, they don't. The Nuggets, man, this whole Nuggets team has pretty much been the same core forever. Pretty much every player on that team has some sort of playoff experience. If if Murray and Porter come back, that's just even more fuel to the fire. And Jokic is unstoppable. They literally came back against the Warriors like 2 nights ago. They just folded at the very end. And I think that was some very uncharacteristic turnovers by Jokic at the end there. So I don't think he does that regularly. I think they can pull it out.
That's interesting, Gabe.
I know last week I said I would take the Warriors, but I need to get at least. There's an upset that happens every year. I need to predict at least one, and I think this is the spot for it.
Give me the Dubs in 7, man. I think Jokic is good enough to push his series to 7 games. We saw last year he was good enough to beat a team that was immensely more talented than what the Nuggets were in the Blazers, but he was able to win that series largely due to his play. I don't know. I just don't think – I think the Warriors will figure it out once Draymond eventually comes back. Clay's more integrated into the offense. Maybe Wiseman is back. Maybe he's not. I don't think that would be that big of a deal if he's not back. I think they'll figure it out enough to at least get out of the first round.
Yeah, I agree. I do have Golden State in 7. Wiseman should be back. I think he got sent down to the G League for a couple of games last week, so I think he'll be back within the team the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I do still have some concerns about the Warriors. I don't feel confident about them past the first round, but I think with Draymond back, just a little bit more continuity, having their main facilitator back on the offense, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be a really close series, but I got the Warriors in 7.
Just with the matchups and experience, I really feel like the Warriors would do better against the Grizzlies than they would against the Nuggets. So I think that if they beat the Nuggets, I definitely think the Warriors are going to the conference finals.
Interesting. I could see that, yeah. The Grizzlies they just have so little experience on that roster. So Golden State is probably like their biggest nightmare, but you said the Nuggets are beating Golden State, so it won't even matter.
That is true.
Then the last first round matchup, these teams were separated by half a game. The 4th-seeded Utah Jazz, 5th-seeded Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to just get it out the way. Give me the Mavs in 5 games. I think this is the series that breaks up the Utah Jazz.
Breaks them up. I wouldn't mind that, but like, how do you break them up?
I don't know, but I think some big changes will happen this offseason if they don't get out this first round. I think some big-time changes. And I will take the Mavs in 5 games. I think – man, I just think I just don't have a lot of faith in this Jazz team, man. I really don't.
Yeah. I got too much respect for Donovan Mitchell to say 5 games. I think Mike Conley is probably still better than Spencer Dinwiddie. Let's keep it a buck here.
Maybe.
Rudy is probably the best big man on the court. And I still don't know if I have that much faith in Luka's supporting cast. With that said, Mavs in 6.
Yeah.
With all that said, still Mavs in 6. I think it's time. Luka has made the playoffs twice. played well in the playoffs twice and got knocked out in the first round twice. I think it's just about that time to where his good play is going to translate to them finally coming out of the series because he's not playing against Kawhi and PG.
Yeah, I got Mavs in 6 as well. As you said, Gabe, you said it exactly as I wanted. Donovan Mitchell's just a performer in the playoffs. No doubt about it. He just ups it up to another level in the playoffs. That's about the only reason I have them in 6. As a whole, I don't really trust the Jazz, but I trust Donovan Mitchell enough that they'll be able to get a couple of results. But I think Dallas are a better team. And I hope Utah do make some changes because ultimately, I talked about this in a video I put out this week. Utah are a good team, and they kind of had to lock up Rudy, but they are what they are now. They don't really have any way with this team to be any better than just maybe getting to the second round or, in this scenario, getting knocked out to the Mavericks. So hopefully they can make some changes and get some better talent around Mitchell. But I think Mitchell will help them get a couple wins here, but I think Dallas end up winning this one.